right, guys, we are back with another episode of Hustle and Highlight, and today we have another special guest, and she is my favorite smartass. She's a badass, women-owned business owner. She owns ASP Armory here in town, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and kind of tell her, for people that don't know you, what you're about, what you do, all the good things.
Yeah, I've owned this store for over 12 years now. I started it back in 2012 when I only had 2 kids. And I think I was cooking one of them. So I have 4 of them now.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it's just been crazy because it's like, when you look at 10 years of time, you don't look at every single day. You just kind of get like little blurbs of it. And it's crazy to think that it's even been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, sometimes I look back and I'm like, damn, that was a decade. That was a decade of time. Like now my kids are older and my hope is that this is something that they'll look back on and really cherish too. And that it's something that they'll want to be a part of in the future. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm really, really fortunate to have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, wow.
So
4
where
kids.
did you start as far as, were you always on merchant? That was the first?
So I actually started on Orange Drive across from the DMV.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was given the opportunity to expand, and I, for a short period of time, did operate 2 stores, and one of them was the Range off of Leisure Town. Mm-hmm. And then moved from there to Merchant, the first Merchant, 921 Merchant, and now I'm in hopefully my forever home at 907 Merchant.
I love
It's so
that
cute.
location.
It's a beautiful, beautiful spot, and I'm so fortunate to have found it.
You hopped on it. Too,
Yeah, I was
that
not
thing
going to let
hot.
that shit go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I saw the sign pop up, and Jeff over at La Barbalon, he was like, bro.
Get on it.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
there's a sign up. There's somebody putting a sign up. I don't know what it says, but I'm going to fucking find out, and you're going to call him. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm on it. And I
That's
called that
awesome.
guy, I swear to God, probably 87 times. Back to
Whoa.
back. Back to back.
You're like, it's mine.
Yeah, seriously. And when I met the leasing agent, the property owner, I pretty much put all my cards on the table. And I was like, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is what I can offer this property, which you need me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked out.
I
It worked out really
love
well.
that.
Love that.
I wasn't sure, but because it was vacant for a while, it felt
Yeah,
like. And
for
it was
like 6,
I mean,
7
he owned
years.
it, but he didn't do anything with it, right?
No. So I guess his family, the landlord's family, has owned it since the 60s. So
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cute spot. I like that it has a gate around it too. That's nice.
absolutely. And it
Yeah.
from the outside, it looks like it's supposed to be a gun store.
Yeah.
And from the inside, you're just blown away because it's so beautiful. And then
Yeah.
to have me be able to occupy that space and do what I do in it, it just is perfect.
Yeah.
Love that.
So how do you feel like about operating in like such a male dominated field and like obviously being a woman owned business in that field? How does that go about?
It's awesome because when I first applied for my FFL, my federal firearms license, it was 10 years ago, so I was 27, 28, and at that time, I was the youngest female FFL holder in California for a non-franchise, normal, like brick-and-mortar store. And it's awesome because in a typical, like, male-dominated industry, anything, automotive, firearms, anything, you are instantly met with people that assume you have a lack of knowledge or a lack of understanding, or you're just there to do the books or do advertising. So I didn't know everything at first. Like I didn't know half a quarter of the shit that I know now. But with immersion knowledge, you figure it all out.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because not necessarily being able to prove people wrong, but being able to know that I can do everything in that business and I can run every aspect of it. And earning people's respect that way means so much more than just knowing it or just being there to do those things, to do the books or to do advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What made you start in this industry, would you say? What were you doing before?
So before all this, I was staying at home with our kids.
Okay.
I didn't grow up in like a gun family. Like I grew up out in the country in El Dorado County, and it wasn't like, my dad was a gun guy or, we weren't like that.
Yeah.
My dad worked in the union and my mom's a school teacher. So it wasn't like we had this as like a foundation stuff. But when I was dating my now ex-husband, he was in the Marine Corps, so he was really interested in this stuff. So when you're dating somebody, you try and get interested in what they're interested in, and that was guns and shooting and stuff. So I tried to pick that stuff up, and when we started the store, because when we did start, it was him and I, my ex-husband and I. And we were watching the news one day, and this group of people were just like totally bent over a small store up in El Dorado County where I grew up had sponsored a sports billboard for a high school. And they were like, how can this firearms related store sponsor a school? This is crazy. These two things don't belong together. And at the time I was staying home with our kids still. I had previously worked in mortgage lending. So I have like some like low level IQ, but it's there. And it's there.
Oh, my land.
And we're sitting there watching it, and these people were just like, you don't even need these special licensings to open these stores and do this stuff. And my dad had just passed away, so we had came across a little bit of the money that he had left me. And we were dicking it off. We were like, oh, let's take the kids to Disneyland. Let's buy a truck. Let's do this. And I had known that if we didn't do something responsible, like mildly responsible, the money would be gone. So we're sitting there watching it, and we're like, shit, you don't need any licensing to open the store. Granted, this was like 12 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't need anything to open those stores. And I'm thinking like, shit, I really want something to do because these kids are going to grow up and I can't just stay home. I'm not going to take care of this man for the rest of my life. Like, it's just not going to work out. So him and I were talking about it. I'm like, I bet you we could do that shit. There's nothing like that here. Because we had just moved back home. Like, there's nothing like that here. We could totally do it. And he's like, yeah, probably. And kind of like okey doked me. But then we brought the conversation back up again. We're like, maybe we should really do something like this. I guarantee you it could work here. So we're really fortunate in this community that it's well received. So the stars aligned one day, and we were walking around looking at properties, and we were over at that Orange Drive area, and the new building owners had just closed escrow, and they were walking the property, and we walked into them, and we had said, hey, do you know who owns this building? And they're like, oh, we just closed escrow.
Nice.
And we met with them, and we were able to work out a really favorable lease that day. And
it's amazing timing.
Figured out.
Everything works out for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. Wow. So it was just like a thought in your head. You're like, oh, we should do that. And then now look at you 12 years later.
So at the time he was still in the military and he was working full time, and then me staying home with the kids. And I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing, but even then I didn't know what I was doing at all. So I just was like, well, shit, we're going to figure it out, and just winged it, literally.
Do you feel like that's what you are still doing, is just
every day?
It? Oh yeah, same.
Absolutely.
Same, yeah. I feel like even if
aspect.
like 12 years in, you said, right? You're still learning something every day, whether it be like the smallest little thing about marketing or about, the actual product itself.
But now I think the pinnacle is like, I've learned humility with it, because I know I don't know everything, but I know people that I've crossed paths with, or that I've come in contact with, or I've had the absolute fortunate opportunity to meet, they know something. And now I know that I don't have to know everything, but this person can teach me something, and I can take that and I can apply it to what I'm doing, whether it's like a business owner, a leader, a partner, a mother, anything, and I can apply what that lesson is from that person and be better at each of those aspects.
Oh, yeah. Networking is so huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just listening to a podcast this morning while I was getting ready, and they were talking about that, like how insanely essential that is for a business to run properly.
Yeah. Well, and people want to feel like you're an actual person too, not just like the face of the business. They want to connect with you and talk to you. And it's nice that you're like, I don't know everything, because people probably walk in all the time, I'm assuming, and they're like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know that I need this.
Well, and
it's fine though.
And that part can get frustrating sometimes, and especially with what we do. We answer the same questions every single day. But if you don't answer those questions and you don't give people the opportunity to seek the information and give them that knowledge, especially with what I do, you're doing them an injustice.
Totally.
So it's like we are the resource, and they should feel completely comfortable to come in and ask as many questions as they want, whether they buy something or not. Who cares? Firearms are something that everybody should feel comfortable asking questions about and not feel stupid.
Right. And also not be scared of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a huge topic it could go political too, but I feel like that's that's huge in the world right now, is everyone's all scared of them, or like, all these mass shootings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of, I feel we can go down a rabbit hole with this.
Well, yeah, and that's the biggest thing too. It's like with my industry, people either are or they aren't.
Yeah.
And trying to bridge that gap is like my biggest like goal in this, is bridging that gap. Like, why aren't you?
Yeah.
How can, like, you don't have to have this like hardcore hatred, but how can I help you?
Yeah.
Right.
Or, like, how can I remove the fear? Because if like you can be fearful, but you can understand it.
Yeah,
and it
right.
doesn't, like, you don't have to pick it up, you don't have to wear it every day like I do, you don't have to take it with you. Like, that's fine, that's not like,
Yeah. Teach
I don't
their
like
own.
pickles, that's cool, like,
Right.
it's totally okay.
But you should have the knowledge
Yeah.
enough to be comfortable to use
Exactly.
it if need be, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know. I didn't, like you were saying, you didn't grow up around guns. I didn't either. And then my mom got married when I was like 15, and he was prior military. So he was all about like hunting and shooting, and he loved that stuff. And I was terrified of guns because I'd never been around any that I knew of. And as far as I knew, they were just for like, I don't know, we grew up out in the country too, so like killing snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I had never like seen one or touched one or anything. And so like getting comfortable with that was hard. It was
Yeah.
hard just because in my brain, because my family was like not about that, I was like, oh, these things are like scary and they could really like be deathly or whatever. But
Yeah.
now that I've like actually used them and am comfortable with them, it's such a different feeling because
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I feel comfortable in my home now. I feel comfortable going, XYZ with my kids, or like I don't feel
Staying at the salon late, or
I
like
don't
little things
fear-
like that.
I don't feel fearful. With it. I feel
Changing-
more comfortable with it.
Changing the pattern of control, who's
Totally.
in control of it, and utilizing for a tool instead of like making it something that's so unobtainable and so unmanageable has really
Right.
been where it's at.
Yeah.
I love that you guys have a lot of aspects of education throughout, like not only with yourself, but with like Michelle and
Yeah.
things like that. Like teaching people where to start, like intro to handguns and like how to even buy a gun and how to start your CCW and things like that. I feel like that's really cool because, I mean,
That's probably what gets people who are comfortable or who are uncomfortable, like finally kind of like dipping their toe in the water.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
taking a class like that, right?
And I hope, and like I try to remind myself every day, like when somebody comes in, you talk to them like you always have known them. Like you're just seeing them again after not having seen them for 6 months. Like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? What's new? Where have you been? How are the kids? All that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And it eliminates the intimidation factor for them so they feel comfortable talking to you, and it helps break down the barrier.
yeah.
And if you treat people with respect and kindness and appreciate them coming into your store, then everything else from there is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have the perfect personality for this business because you're so kind and you're so sweet, but you also have that like bluntness and like grit that like you get the job done. You know what I mean? And I love that. And how many times have you heard or gotten calls? Like you post this on Instagram so many times. They're like, "Oh, I'm the manager. Hello." Like,
Oh, yeah. Like,
all
oh,
the
sure,
things.
let me transfer you. Oh, hey, yeah, you got transferred.
It's still me. Hello.
Yeah, it's still me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that all the time, huh?
All the time. And it's like, I get it. The expectation is that it's not me, which is fine. Like, damn, I would probably think that too. But it makes that secondary part of the call like so much better. They're like, oh, okay, well, and then from there, I can still recover the call and get it better.
Yeah.
And then you guys both laugh, I'm sure. And just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
surprise, it's still me.
Gotcha, bitch.
I love that.
I love that. That's great. So what's your like go-to for like a woman getting into firearms? I know we were talking about this a little bit. Like what's your go-to choice like for a handgun or to carry or anything like that?
I always try and take what their specific needs are into consideration. So it's like, is it something that she wants to be able to take with her all the time? Is it something that she just wants to have at home? Does she have little kids where she wants to be able to have like a safety so that she can turn it on and like her peace of mind is there? Like, hey, if my kid picks this up, there's no way they're going to be able to make this work. There's so many facets to it, and being able to identify each one of her concerns and have like a real conversation, because I have kids. I know what's going to fit in my pants if I'm wearing this gun every day. I know if I'm home alone where my like concerned areas are in my home and how I'm going to be sleeping peacefully at night. So being able to have a relatable conversation is really what makes it like,
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
'cause-
for anyone, not just women, right? So
Yeah.
like people coming in for bigger purchases, I'm sure.
yeah. And, you know, a lot of the time we'll get like husband-wife duos that come in and he's trying to guide the conversation. I'm like, hey, listen, I appreciate that you brought her in, but like go get something to eat and fuck off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can come back when it's time to pay, but other than that, like, I got it from your dog. Like,
Bless.
We got to have a conversation.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
completely different.
It
Like
is.
what works for him is not going to be,
yeah,
you know,
and
for her.
half
Right.
the time he's just trying to like bum rush the conversation so he can buy what he wants for himself, and that's like,
And then she could just learn how to use it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's not how it works.
Right.
That's not how it works.
Interesting. So if someone were just like completely new to this whole like gun situation, how would you navigate them? Like, where do they start? Do they start with a class? Do they start like,
It honestly
us through.
depends on like their comfort level. So you can have like a brand noob off the street that comes in mostly just based off of like genuine curiosity, like, ooh, what's in here? You know, they come in and it's like, hey, have you been around firearms before? Do you feel comfortable? Like, are you completely terrified about being in here right now? No? Cool. Do you want to put some guns in your hands? Do you want to see how they feel? Yes. Cool. All right. Well, let's kind of feel around. Do you have a price point that you're comfortable with? All right. So we have an idea of what feels good in your budget. Because I don't want to put, you know, $1,000 gun in this person's hand. They fall in love with it, because that's not responsible either. That's
Right.
not like, these are big purchases, and it's not just the price of the gun. It's the price of the ammo. It's the price of the training. These are like, this is a big purchase, and it's not fair to put this huge burden on somebody and get them excited about this next step that they're going to be making and not preparing them for the entire process.
sure.
So half the time, just getting them comfortable with the environment, the store environment. And then from there, cool, hey, this is your firearm safety certificate test. Let's try this first. We want to go over these questions with you, kind of get you familiarized with the entire process. Once they get that little certificate, they're good for 5 years. They can purchase or transfer anything. Then they can kind of continue exploring the store. Then from there, they can make their purchase, but I always try and lead them more into the education platform after that, just so
Yeah,
that
smart.
building confidence in education first before we build confidence in like excitement, anticipation of
Yeah.
like, oh, I have this cool new gun. Now what do I do?
Right.
Because that's not going to go the way they think it's going to go. It's going to go by them buying this gun, putting it in a closet, and then what?
Yeah.
Stay there.
Sits there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So taking the next step and like learning how to work it, and then go from there, and then like maybe starting the CCW process if you
Yeah.
want to carry.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
I love that.
exciting.
How often would you recommend like someone like that, right? Who's just like new. They're like, I know I want this. I know I want to feel like safe and comfortable in my own home, and I need something like this to do so. How often would you recommend, or would you recommend for them to go to a shooting range every so often, or like what do you recommend there? Because obviously like you got to know how to use it, right? You need some reps in there to feel confident about it, right?
I mean, honestly, it's like go to the range as often as you can. But sometimes that's not practical. They have jobs, they have families, they have
Sure.
other responsibilities. But the more that you shoot, the more that you build your confidence, the more that you build those muscle memory skills, the more that you learn your firearm, which it is a dying skill too. So if you don't practice, it's like with anything. If you don't
Right.
practice your baseball, if you don't practice sport, like, you know, you're going to lose that skill. But you have to do it, especially if it's something that can make the difference between a life and death situation, or, you know, that this is a huge responsibility on the firearm owner.
Yeah.
But realistically, every 6 months is like the absolute bare minimum as a responsible gun owner. The absolute
Every
bare minimum.
6 months. Okay.
Not only to make sure, like, is your firearm clean?
Right.
Are your mags properly loaded? Do you have it lubricated properly? Like, does it even work? Have you checked
Right.
on it? Like, those kind of things matter.
Yeah, definitely. I was telling her we should do like a salon.
Yeah.
That'll be our day. We'll go to the shooting range. you
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's
more
great.
fun than people think. I think like when you think of like a stereotypical range situation, it's a bunch of like crusty old white dudes that are
Yeah.
like, you know, with like fishing vests, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it's gross and it smells bad, and there's like nowhere to go pee. Like, that's not it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that actually are really good at it. And once you are like, holy shit, I'm good at this, then it builds the confidence. You're like, damn, I want to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
And again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have like, it's not just straightforward at the Target, right? Aren't there like different like,
Hell yeah. There's tons of different things. Like, you don't have to just be like, oh, here's this bullseye, let me practice this. Like, no, there's tons of cool shit you can do.
oh, fun.
Love that. It is so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, most people are like, you know, you can just buy a handgun, you can learn home defense tactics. Cool. That's going to take care of what you want to do if you want to protect yourself at home. But if you're going to carry a gun on you, in the situation or circumstances that you're going to need to utilize a CCW handgun, let's say you're at a restaurant and someone snatches your kid. You're going to pull your gun. You know what I mean? Like, your adrenaline, immediately just thinking about it, you're like, I'm going to fucking kill everybody in this room if they take my babies, right?
Yeah.
So you're thinking, how do I get my gun out of my pants or my bag or whatever? Where's my kid? Think about all the circumstances in that. You want to train for those circumstances. So then you're thinking...
Muscle memory.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you feel like in today's world with all the chaos, like that kind of stuff, that perfect example right there, that's my biggest fear, is someone taking my kids. Do you feel like, or do you see more people in general, maybe like specifically women, coming into your store because of everything that's happening right now out there?
Especially in the last, like, what, decade you've been doing this?
Yeah, I do. And I feel like, for two reasons. I feel like just the way the world is, people are more considerate of that, and they want to be prepared for those type of things. But I would like to also hope that they are seeking me out in particular, like, oh, hey, this isn't your typical gun store. This isn't, again, a bunch of crusty old white dudes in fishing vests that are pissed off that they have to work. Like, this is another woman that
is a mom
and
knows.
Kids go to school with my kids, and you know, she's normal, and I can just go talk to her, and there's no pressure, there's no intense environment, and that's my hope.
I definitely appreciate that.
It doesn't have to be like this intimidating situation.
Yeah, that's my goal every day. I'm like, okay, if I can at least accomplish that and appeal to that demographic, the rest will all come. But if this untapped market that it has been left in the dark without any resources can be, you know, if I can help them, then
I feel like a lot of ways it's stuck with women and their like kind of feminine energy, and they like rely on a man to like, you know, protect them and do all of those things. It's like, I think society is a little bit stuck in that aspect.
Yeah.
But also sometimes the men are at work. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think
you're vulnerable. You're with your
Yeah.
kids. You're in the Target parking lot, and kids get snatched all the. You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, that's what drives me to like want to do my like concealed carry and things like that. Just because I have a business too. I'm working late. Like, I feel like women
especially
should.
last night, the Ring camera was going off. It was like 9 p.m. What the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, still there.
For example, but just, I think as women, we shouldn't have to, I mean, yeah, obviously we love a good man.
Well, yeah, I feel like
but protect yourself too, you know?
Yeah.
men were put on this earth to like provide and protect, right? Like that's their natural thing. But in today's world, like, women also work. Like, we're not always together with the man. Like, we have to learn how to protect as well. You know, when the man's not present.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like it's just smart, especially like we were just saying, in today's world, there's chaos breaking out everywhere at any moment, and sometimes the man ain't gonna be there. You know.
And also too, though, like, our natural desire is to protect our children.
Absolutely.
So that provide and protect rolls downhill too. Like, we are providing and protecting for our children. So whether it's, you know, we're taking to school, we're taking to sports, or taking to other places or whatever. So it is our direct responsibility to take care of ours too. So it's like, you know, I am the sole provider for my children, my 4 children. It is just me and my 4 kids at home by myself.
Yeah.
So I will do any and everything to protect them. And they've grown up in this industry. They have an absolute respect for everything that we do. And, you know, I've had this argument so many times with multiple people. They like, you could leave your kids in the room with that gun and not worry about a single thing. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But
It's all about knowledge.
Yeah, not every kid has that. So also making sure that kids have a healthy respect for these tools too is super important. So it's like, as we teach these women and these mothers and these friends about these firearms, that knowledge needs to go hand in hand with these children too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
pass down the knowledge to the
Yeah.
kids, right? Instead of have them
Absolutely.
be fearful of this thing.
and that's another thing too. Like if you go into the shop at any given time, you're going to see one of my kids at some point.
Yeah.
They're always there, always. And I hope that families understand that you can always bring your kids into the store too. Like always. They're
I asked
always
her that the
welcome.
other day. I said, I forget, but can I bring the baby?
Yeah.
in here? I'm on a run and I have the stroller.
Yeah.
I mean, I want them to see like, oh, hey, mom and dad are looking at these things. This is interesting to me. I want kids to ask questions too. And, I have no problem helping kids understand stuff. And Michelle offers a class too for families. So everybody's learning the same basis of information. Everybody's
that.
getting stuff at the same pace, same rate. But it has to be everybody. Everybody has to learn the same stuff so there's the same core knowledge.
Right.
I love that. I love that you're paving a way in the industry for women to be in this field as well,
Right.
But so then like also too, there's like there's those women in the industry that are like wearing weird like rhinestone-y like leather bags that are and it's like
Yeah.
with like
What?
like
I mean, to each their own, but not the
you
vibe.
gotta look it up. Like there's like a whole like subculture of like women in firearms thing, and they're all like, ugh, like
They're
there's
like, bling, bling, here's my gun.
yeah,
That's
and
interesting.
it's too much.
Now I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole.
It's too much. And like those are like that's
I've never seen that.
absolutely do you?
Yeah.
But that's not what this current era.
Everyone's not like that.
No.
That's not the vibe
And that's
we're going
not
for.
every woman. You
No,
know?
yeah, and
that's what you're trying to say. It's like,
Absolutely, like there's normal firearm people too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if like there's nothing on the outside that's like hell yeah brother about firearms about
Yeah.
me. Like
Yeah.
I'm just absolutely normal.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing on the outside here that screams like come to my gun store and look at all my guns. Like nothing about that is that. It's completely approachable and normal. But if you come in, I'm gonna give you any and everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
I love that.
How has it been being like a mom and, I mean, obviously a mom of 4, that's I have 2 and I feel like I'm losing it sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I'm like,
damn,
I don't know what I'm
4.
doing. Any day, any day of the week.
we're here. So how has it been like being a mom of 4, doing school drop-offs, all the things? I'd imagine they're in like, some kind of like extracurriculars, and then you own a business and you have like, what has that been like?
It's crazy. I'm really fortunate that my kids are really understanding and they're all really like flexible, and I have a great boyfriend that steps up and helps out when he can with stuff.
Awesome.
But my oldest is going to be 21 in May, and then
Whoa, what?
yeah.
Doesn't she?
You look so good.
I
What
don't
the
know
hell?
how she like. I asked her the other day. I was like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And she's like, "I don't know." And I was like, "What? Like you don't want to go get fucked up?" Or-
Right. You're not trying to go to Vegas?
Yeah,
or-
like there's none of that. And she's like, "I'll let you know." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Well, don't go out of your way."
Easy. Yeah.
And then I have a 16-year-old who's applying for colleges and stuff already because she's going to be a senior next year. Yeah, she does
What?
cheerleading at Wood. She does like super great academically.
Yeah,
She's fucking
that's
awesome.
awesome.
And then my 13-year-old son, who's in 7th grade and has aspirations to be an NBA star.
Okay.
And then I have a 10-year-old daughter who's just a fucking straight menace.
Yeah.
Is
it's
she,
like,
is she
always
you,
crazy.
little fun?
No, I was a great kid. Like I was like, ask my mom. I was a fucking great kid. But
I love it.
they're all great. They don't give me much issues. They'll come to the shop when they need
they're
to.
understanding.
Absolutely. And I think since this is the only thing that they've known for so long, like this, they just all fall in place.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
great.
Yeah.
I love that.
So where can people find you as far as like, where is the armory? Where's your business? What's your handle? All the good things.
So I'm at 907 Merchant Street in downtown-ish Vacaville. Instagram is ASP_Armory, where that has been an amazing attribute, being able to have that Instagram, because that's really the only free basis of marketing that I have. All of
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
stuff has ever been there, and people love my Instagram. That's
and
where-
you're on it too. Like
Yeah.
you answer any and all questions. So
I
if you
try
guys have
to. I
questions,
try to as much as
reach
humanly
out.
possible.
She will answer them for you.
I try and post as often as I can. I post my inventory there. I post stories on there bitching about stuff, and people really receive that.
we
well.
love it. We're here
love
for
it,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, they love it, and it's just it's really fun because they get to see like the store environment, like what's going on with customers, what's going on with inventory, what's going on with me. And it's just been well received because I've been places and people are like, hey, are you that? And I was like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, am I what? Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, exactly. And people just really receive that version of me very, very well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that. That's
Well,
great.
guys, if you're interested on learning, or if you're interested, if you even know, go check her out, ASP_Armory on Instagram. And
Go check out the new store.
yeah,
I haven't
it's
been
beautiful.
in there, but
it's
it
so
looks
nice.
great.
It
Yeah.
looks huge.
Yeah, it's a very well-sized facility. I really, really am very fortunate and very blessed to have found that spot
That's
for sure.
awesome.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
It's really nice in there. I went in there for the first time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you purchased. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for
taking
having
time
me.
out of your
Appreciate
super
it.
busy schedule.
Yes.
We appreciate you
Thank you.
and everything you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.